Welcome everyone to Real Estate with Gwen Price, and we're here to talk about the market update, what's happening in Sudbury, and with me is Lana Watier, my broker, Keystone Real Estate. Good morning. Missing from our conversation, unfortunately, is Trina Tallon, mortgage representative with Neighborhood Dominion Lending, but we'll catch up with her because there's lots happening, and I'm sure she's running like crazy because I know we are as realtors.
Yeah, the market is just exploded here. I think everybody's coming out of COVID quarantine and just going back to work and going back to house hunting, and yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah, especially it's been well over a month now. It's been about a month and a half or so, and the phone started to ring, and I think people, they just wanted to give back because it was crazy like that before we got totally kind of shut down, but.
Yeah, it was. And the market has been moving this way into more of the seller's market area for the last couple of years. And now I think with COVID and everything, we're in such a seller's market, we have such a listing shortage, and there's so many buyers out there that, still want to take advantage of the low interest rates and things like that. And,
Well, yeah, because looking again at the end of May, the stats, like the number, this is for the whole of the Sudbury Real Estate Board, which is a big area, but listings are down 25% from last year at the end of May. The number of sold listings is down 17%. And so that's sort of an indication of why there's such a fury there, because there's such a shortage of listings in certain price ranges and areas, and people kept thinking the prices are going to drop because of COVID, but looking at these stats for the whole of the board, the average sale price is up 9%, about $292, and for the city of Greater Sudbury, it's up 4% to about $309. So, like, people read the stats or read things about what's happening in Canada, but that's not reflective of what's going on here.
No, that's true. Every single market is different. Like, you can't compare Sudbury to Toronto or Ottawa or Vancouver or, Winnipeg or whatever. Yeah. Every single market is different. And I know, some markets are struggling. Some markets have totally, quieted down. But that is definitely not the case here in Sudbury. It is. There are a lot of buyers out there still looking. And like you said, in the price ranges, like the most active price ranges, in the 200s, between 200 and 300, there's just still multiple offers coming in and properties going for over list, and just because there's just nothing else. There's nothing for people to buy.
Yeah, that one little house I listed, was it Monday? We had 8 showings, I think the next day or whatever. It was 8 showings and 3 offers that night, and it was listed at $2,099. And, that was an indication, because we probably could have had more showings or more offers, but I mean, it was crazy,
Yeah.
And she was totally blown away by the experience, because she was a senior and hadn't bought or sold in many, many years, and was totally blown away by what was going on. So timing for the sellers is great. It's a little tougher, if they're looking to buy something, because they're competing, right? So it's very hard to put an offer in conditional on the sale of your home, because you're not going to be competitive with somebody who's just putting in financing. And
yeah, those conditions aren't, they haven't been working for the last couple of years as well, just because the market is so quick. People are not going to wait for a house to sell. And realistically, most buyers won't have to wait very long for their house to sell. Yeah. So in this market, if you've got a quality property and it's priced accordingly, then, their buyers still aren't, overpaying for properties, I would say. Like, if a seller is listed, overpriced their property by $50,000, $60,000, then you're not going to get the activity. And that's a good indication for majority of sellers, that if you're not getting activity in this market, your price is too high, because this is probably one of the hottest markets I've seen in the last several years.
Yeah, no, it is. And you're right. It doesn't even matter, actually, if a house is the worst house in the worst, if it's priced right, it will sell, because there are investors, or there's people that like contractors that like to pick up houses that need work, and they will buy them.
Yeah,
So
absolutely, absolutely. If
yes,
your house is priced properly, it will sell.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
there are some changes coming up, and I'd hoped we could have talked to Trina today about it, but we'll get the information from her, because there's some new rules with CMHC, and I think it might be just CMHC, but they're changing the TDS and GDS ratios, which is the amount of debt that a buyer has. They've kind of made a little you know, they're trying to protect us from ourselves, right? We get in a lot of debt and we can't carry everything, and they're just being a little bit more stringent and tougher about the rules and regulations about what they want somebody to qualify with. So
And I think particularly in this type of market, I think that's wise, to be honest, because a lot of people are, when you get into a competition situation and you're at the top of your budget, any little blip in your lifestyle will affect your ability to pay your mortgage.
yeah,
So, you know, I don't necessarily disagree with changes like that. I think that, you know, they can be a good thing, and people shouldn't be extending themselves to the point where, you know, you're worried about going out and buying a pizza or
yeah,
getting a cup of coffee because you got to make your mortgage payment that month. It's just, that's not the way to live. You don't want to live paycheck to paycheck to pay your mortgage. You want to have a life and enjoy your house and enjoy your, you know, your lifestyle. So I think it's wise. I think it has its place for
I
sure.
mean, interest rates are down slightly again, and but like I always say, there's a whole generation doesn't know double digits, but you know, if they go to their max all the time, there's no cushion there, right? So I always get a little nervous. Yeah, they're approved for 400, and they want to go to the last nickel to you know, so then there is no protection unless, yes, the bank looks at it, and they are changing these rules somewhat, so to protect people from, you know, not just living only for the house. So it's a good thing. And but yeah, I know everybody was kind of surprised, I think, by what was going on. They thought COVID. I know there was sharks in the water looking for people in desperate situations, and we're not experiencing that. And
No, not yet. We're not seeing that fallout from COVID as of yet. It may come later if people don't get back to work. If there are, you know, a lot of businesses are potentially shutting down, and small businesses and whatnot, that will definitely have an effect. We may see that a little bit later, but as of right now, this year, it's just, you know,
yeah,
it's back to normal as far as the process of buying goes, but not back to normal as far as how people are doing the buying and how people are working, because we have, you know, a lot of protocols and things in place for safety reasons, and making sure that people and our buyers and sellers are all protected. And so, you know, because you have people coming in and out of your house, and you want to make sure that they're safe. So I believe the majority of realtors are covering that and making sure everybody is
yeah.
following the rules and whatnot.
Well, like I say, I feel more comfortable showing a house than I do going to a lot of these stores right now, because we are much more stringent. And I know that's a reason partly too why some people haven't put their houses on the market. And especially if they're seniors or they've got some health issues, they're a little worried about still, right, with the virus, for people coming and going, and, you know, try to reassure them that we take all these precautions, and it's not foolproof, but you know, any of the realtors that I know, where I've got a whole kit, you know, we all kind of got their whole thing with all the
Yep.
disposables and things like that. So we're trying very hard to protect everybody, and we do a screening, like every time I go to show a house. Okay, even if I saw you yesterday, well, this is a new house and I'm going to have an audit trail there. I've screened them so that if there is any chance that somebody had something, at least there's some type of trail. But I know I feel like in the stores it's just the Wild West again. You know, there's where did the social distancing go? You know, and everybody's got to have their own comfort level, but I just feel like in some of the places it's kind of crazy. So definitely we do everything we can when we're listing, when we're showing houses to protect everybody, because we got to go home to our families too, and we certainly
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing. Like I was saying, how much hand soap I'm going through, and I'm thinking, okay, like that means the guys in my house are washing their hands more. Bonus. So that's probably a good thing, no matter what, flu, COVID, whatever. But
that's right. That's right. There's a lot of other things out there besides COVID. So yeah.
Well, and we always used to also, thinking about in terms of what our sort of typical market was. By the end of June, a lot of people would disappear on vacation or go to camp and that sort of thing. Well, people have started going back to camp, but in terms of vacations, it may be staycations. So they're in town looking still for properties. That doesn't, it may be a different year this year.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a different year. July, usually, yeah, you're right. We see the slowdown with people going on vacation, but without people being able to fly or we may see a pretty steady market, I think, throughout the summer.
Yeah, and then typically in the fall, once the kids would get back into school, and then that'd be another sort of, so it's hard to say how the whole thing's going to unfold, but it could be, maybe it's going to be a steady flow through to the fall, and we don't know.
Yeah,
but
hard to say. It's like COVID. Everything just changes day to day. You don't know. You got to just roll with it.
Well, it was certainly something new to all of us. I've never seen a market that I had like that just shut down all of a sudden, but we're definitely picked back up, and Sudbury is a good city. I mean, it's a good place for people to invest. The prices are still, the average sale price at $300 still pretty good. I forget what the average sale price across Canada, but it's considerably higher, and certainly in the big centers like Toronto and Vancouver, their prices are still high, compared to us. So it's a good place, and now people can work out of their homes no matter what, right? They can be working for an international company and live in Sudbury, and they can maybe buy a house here rather than buying in the bigger centers and commute when they have to.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. With all this new technology like Zoom, and well, not new technology, but people embracing a little bit more, you do have that option to live anywhere. And Sudbury is a great place. Fun Sudbury, we've got a lot of stuff going on here all the time. And the nature around here, you're never more than, 10 minutes away from a lake if you wanted to go for a hike or a fish or whatever. So yeah, it's a great place. I love Sudbury.
Well, I always think people should think about coming back home if they were raised here. Maybe this is a good place to retire to, and like I say, it's affordable. If they've been living in a bigger center, hopefully they've made some money down there, and they could come back here and buy something here.
There you go. There you go. You can get a house and a cottage for the same price as your big house in Toronto. So you get a 2 for 1 here.
Yeah. No, I think when I was younger, I thought, I'd like to get out of Sudbury. But you know what? Now, at this stage of my life, it's a pretty good place. And certainly during all of this, what we went through with COVID, I was glad I was living in Sudbury, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah, we had I think our administration here had a great response to the whole ordeal, and our retailers here were excellent, and all the small businesses that really kept people motivated, and the support for those small businesses has been great too. So we're a great community minded city.
Yeah, there was some great initiatives, to help get money or whatever supplies for the masks and all of those things that everybody was such a shortage of, but really people dug in and came up with a lot of solutions to some very daunting things, so I was happy to live here. And certainly, please support your local businesses, your restaurants, whatever. They're just struggling now to get back into some kind of a normal routine. It's not quite there yet, but do the best you can, everyone, to support local.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, thanks so much, Lana, and you take care, and we'll talk again in another month and see what happens.
See what happens. Happy selling in fun Sudbury.
Yeah, okay, take care.
You too.